Hi there, good morning. Hope you're not hearing the fan. I'm gonna try to move away from it so you can't hear it, but then I can still get breeze because I'm feeling hot. I need to go take a shower, but I don't want to go do that right now. So yeah, we're just gonna have to work with what we have here. Anyway, today's painting, well, of course you're going to see it in the title. We are painting Sam Winchester, also known as Jared. I'm not going to even try pronouncing the last name. Padalecki, I think it's pronounced as. I'm not sure, but I'm not gonna try to butcher it. Anyway, if you say, how are you a fan but you can't even pronounce the name? Well, damn, there's a lot of things I can't pronounce, so we're not gonna dive into that today. However, what we're going to dive into is when I started watching Supernatural, reason for watching Supernatural. And I know for sure when I started watching Supernatural, it was around the time for my 16th birthday. And this was so because for my 16th birthday, I even remember the first night I watched the first episode. So it was the first time sleeping in my own room. And if you say, how can you be an adult and sleeping in your own room for the first time? Well, that is cause I was afraid of the dark. I didn't have a bed. I used to sleep with my mom still, blah blah blah. Anyway, for my 16th birthday, I decided, hey, I want a bed. I want my own room. So my mom was like, okay, sure. And I got the front room. Well, it was my room, but I didn't have a bed inside it. So she finally bought the bed for me. And I was in here the night. And I had school the next day, but it was the first time sleeping alone. I couldn't sleep with the light on because the house, we don't have a ceiling. So like all the rooms, if you turn on the light in the front room, you can see it reflecting on the roof. So my mom was like, the lights is bothering her, so I couldn't sleep with the light on, and I was afraid of the dark. And earlier that year, around in January, my sister was in the country, and she is how I got introduced to Netflix. And so I had asked her for her account so I can still continue watching the shows that I started watching on her phone, and she gave it to me, and I downloaded Netflix and started watching it. So that night I was scrolling through and I saw something called Supernatural, and I clicked on it, and I started watching it. I remember being afraid in the room with the first episode being the weeping woman, and from that episode I sort of like stayed up and I kept watching and watching more. And then I remember that when it was finished on Netflix, it wasn't actually finished. They had more episodes, but Netflix, they never have the full stuff if it's not their own, so they didn't have the full stuff. So I remember looking at other ways in which I could watch it, and I did find some other ways in which I could watch my beloved TV series. I'm sorry for that, for watching it bootlegged, but still, I really wanted to watch it, and there are very limited things that I could do to watch it. However, I remember that someone was selling CDs of it, well, not CDs, DVDs of it, and that was the DVD club near me, so I used to go and buy it, but he would never have it in order because some people would buy it. Well, I guess they didn't know what it was, so they just buy out like season 2. So on the disc you will have like 4 episodes. So they'd buy like episodes 5 to 9, I think that's right. Episodes 5 to 8, they buy that, and you just have to skip and go to the next one. So I never got it in order. And the next thing, our internet had cut out for quite some time, so I used to go elsewhere and download it so that I can watch it. Used to go on a bunch of sites just so that I could download it. I remember watching it, the first thing that I started watching it on was watch32.is, and then that no longer works good, so I moved over to some other stuff. I think the next thing that I moved over to was Grab the Beast. Anyway, Grab the Beast isn't working so good anymore. You gotta get an account, this, that, blah, blah, blah. Next thing I moved to was my Flickr. Oh, not to mention there was a Showbox, MovieBox, TTV. Those are 3 things that I used a lot. And yeah, I mentioned my Flickr already. So I just basically went to a bunch of different sites just so that I can watch this, and I really loved it. I was very sad that it ended. For a period of time I had stopped watching it, not because I didn't like it, but because I didn't really have access to stuff so that I can watch it. But then when I finally did, I watched it out, and I saw the ending later than most people. I can't say everybody else, because I'm pretty sure there's some people who still haven't seen the ending, but I saw the ending pretty late, and I don't know, the ending seemed quite lame. I mean, I'm sorry, but they just had these epic fights before where they'd have the whole gang there, and then when it comes down to the ending, they don't have everyone there, and I just wish that we could see it with everyone there. And then the way Dean dies, like, I really wish Dean had a happy ever after like Sam did. I wish he'd gotten married and he had his whole life, but that didn't happen. Of course, he died. Anyway, I guess even if he still survived, of course he's going to want to go monster hunting again, but that would have been really nice, so that, you know, maybe we could have had like the preview of maybe having future seasons. Like, now am I seeing the preview of having future seasons? Maybe we would have had like this whole idea of having future seasons, but they're both dead, so no future season for Sam and Dean Winchester. However, that will not stop fan fiction, and with this great, wonderful imagination of mine, I guess I will have to turn to reading fan fiction. Or, you know what, maybe I could start writing fan fiction of my own, but then fan fiction has never really been my cup of tea. Maybe I can read a few of the Sam and Dean fanfiction up here, but I will not be reading any of the fanfiction where they picture the both of them as a couple. Hey, I get it, they already have the last name, you can say they're married, but no, they're brothers, so we're not putting them as married. This video is about halfway through, and I think we've covered everything so far that I wanted to say. Maybe not. I mentioned it helped me get over my fear. So how can a show about monsters help me get over my fear of the dark? Well, I'm still not completely over it. I'm actually still afraid of the dark. Certain things that make me get scared. So I've noticed I got this fear of the rain. When rain starts falling really hard, I can't help myself. I've got to run either in an open area or to where someone is. And I remember yesterday morning I was in the kitchen, I was cooking, and then the rain started falling really hard, and I was trying to wait it out. I even picked up the cat, started hugging the cat, but it wasn't working, so I had to come in back in the room where Raincloud was. He was sound asleep, but I started thinking, why did I get this fear of rain? And so in Guyana, every time it rains, we get blackout. We used it. It no longer works like that, but when I was little, every time it rains, we get blacked out, and that's because, to be honest, I don't know why that was the case, but I still am afraid of the dark, but not to the extent of when I was little. Yeah, so when it rains, blackout. And that's why I'm afraid of the rain, because I'm afraid, what if I'm alone in the kitchen and then we get black out? I don't want that to happen. So yeah, afraid of the dark. That's why I'm afraid of the rain, because of blackout. Blackout is a common thing that happens in Guyana, where basically we don't get electricity, the power just goes out, called blackout. And if I ever use a few slang words that we commonly use in Guyana that you don't understand, just make a comment about it and I will explain what it means and everything else about it. But yeah, you could just comment and I'll explain it. Now, what more can I say? Oh yeah, how did it actually help? Well, if you say, hey, you just mentioned you're still afraid of the dark, how can you say that you're not afraid of the dark when you're still afraid of the dark? Well, I'm not as scared of the dark as I used to be. So before, I couldn't stand being alone in the room if the light in the room wasn't on, and sorry, I had to yarn. For a period of time, I was completely free of my fear of the dark, but then that all changed when my house got robbed. I've mentioned before that the house was robbed, so I got that fear again of the dark. But that's not because I think there's a monster in the dark, nor I'm afraid of getting robbed again. But it's hard to explain. Now, I'll give you an example. Last night, I was going back and forth to the kitchen, taking plates, cups, whatever, and I didn't bother turning on the kitchen light. Back when I was younger, the kitchen light, I would have turned it on every time I went in, and I would be afraid to turn it off. When it turned off, I would run to my room. Well, not anymore. I just walk to the kitchen, put my stuff down, walk out. There are many times when I get up and go to the washroom without turning on the light. A lot of time when I'm looking for something, I just turn on my phone light instead of turning on the light. Last night, all the lights in the house were out. My door to the room was open. It was just open a crack, and the darkness was just seeping in. But of course, I had my light on in my room, the room where I'm doing this right now, so it wasn't that noticeable. But I wasn't afraid of the dark, like, to an extent. I completely forgot what I was saying. Fear of the dark, blah blah blah, getting up, walking, use my phone. I was hiding from rain clouds, so I turned off my phone. All the lights in the house were off, and I was hiding in the washroom, so I couldn't turn on my phone light because of course he'd spot it right away. So I was there in the dark, and I was not scared, so yay for that one. So yeah, it did help me. Before, I would have never been there in the dark. And now to explain how it actually helped. What would the Winchesters do? I think it's WW. I think it's WWT the WWTWD. WWTWD. What would the Winchesters do? And basically, I'm thinking to myself now, if anything pops out, first thing, if it's a demon, then I would need salt. Even if it's a ghost, I would need salt. However, if it's a ghost, hit it with iron. And do you look at that? There's probably iron everywhere in the house. If it's a demon, get salt and start reciting an exorcist. Why am I saying an exorcist? Start performing an exorcism. So yeah, an exorcism in Latin. Holy water. Well, in Guyana we don't do the holy water thing. However, there's olive oil in a bottle that the pastor prays over. Well, would you look at that? I just so happen to have a bottle of oil in it, and I'll tell you why I have that bottle of oil, but I will tell you in the next video when I'm going to be doing Dean Winchester. So that will just have to be a quick reminder, as the rain is coming down here again. Can you hear it pounding on the roof? Well, if not, you're about to hear it really loud in a few seconds. And here it is. If you can hear that, it's raining pretty loud here, like really, really loud. And just a little quick story. I remember one morning I was home. I was actually ironing my clothes so that I could go to school. This was back when I was in high school, and we have uniforms. So I was ironing my uniform, and the rain came down, and I was in the room, so I just ran out into the hallway and jumped up on the chair, and I don't know why I did that, but I was just so scared. And even though it was day, I was still scared of the heavy rainfall. I really, really don't know why I am this way, but I guess I am. Anyway, we're coming down to the end of this video. Would just like to say it would be wonderful if you guys can subscribe to the channel, maybe leave a like on this video. Goodbye.